Most people are baffled by the question, why do some of us sabotage our own lives? Why do we engage in behaviors that harm us, undermine our success, and destroy our happiness? It seems so irrational. Self-destruction in all its forms, from procrastination and addiction to toxic relationships and self-sabotage, is a puzzle that defies logic. But what if I told you that behind this seemingly irrational behavior lies a hidden psychology? What if self-destruction is not random chaos, but a coded message from your subconscious mind? A deeply ingrained survival mechanism that once served you, but now works against you. The truth is, self-destructive behavior is often a signal, a symptom of something much deeper inside. It's a way your mind tries to protect you from pain, fear, and uncertainty, even if the outcome seems counterproductive. When we look closer, we discover layers of psychological defense mechanisms, unresolved trauma, and unconscious beliefs that shape why we act against our own best interests. At the core of self-destruction is a paradox. The very actions we take to avoid pain often bring more pain. Why does this happen? One reason is that the human psyche sometimes prefers familiar suffering over the unknown. Change, growth, and healing require stepping into uncertainty, and the mind resists this because uncertainty feels dangerous. So it clings to what's known, even if that known is painful. Consider the role of shame and guilt. These powerful emotions can imprison us in cycles of self-sabotage. When we feel unworthy or flawed deep down, we might unconsciously act in ways that confirm those beliefs. For example, if you believe you don't deserve success, you might procrastinate on important tasks or reject opportunities. This confirms your internal narrative and, strangely, feels familiar and safe, even though it harms you. Another psychological layer is the concept of control. Sometimes, self-destructive behavior is a twisted attempt to maintain control in situations where we feel powerless. When life feels chaotic or overwhelming, creating small problems like breaking a commitment or engaging in risky behavior can give an illusion of mastery. It's like saying, if I'm going to hurt, at least it's on my terms. We also cannot overlook the influence of early experiences. Childhood trauma, neglect, or inconsistent caregiving profoundly shape our sense of self and our coping strategies. When a child grows up in an environment where love or safety is conditional, they may internalize beliefs such as I am not enough, or I am only lovable when I suffer. These unconscious scripts follow us into adulthood, driving patterns of self-destructive behavior. Attachment theory sheds further light on this. People with insecure attachments, whether anxious, avoidant, or disorganized, may repeat harmful relational patterns. They might gravitate toward toxic relationships that mirror their early attachment wounds, or push away support because intimacy triggers fear. These relational self-destructive tendencies maintain a painful sense of connection and distance simultaneously. Addiction is another complex manifestation of self-destruction. Substance abuse, compulsive behaviors, and other forms of addiction often start as attempts to numb unbearable emotional pain or fill a void of emptiness. Yet they create new layers of suffering, reinforcing negative beliefs about self-worth and helplessness. The cycle becomes self-perpetuating, but self-destruction isn't always about pain avoidance. Sometimes it's about punishment. The internal critic, the relentless voice inside many of us can become a tyrant. This voice feeds on perfectionism, shame, and guilt, driving us to punish ourselves through harmful behaviors. We may unconsciously believe that suffering will atone for perceived faults or make us better somehow. Interestingly, there's also a survival benefit to self-destructive patterns in some contexts. For instance, in chaotic or abusive environments, self-sabotage might have been a way to escape or protect oneself. If success or safety felt dangerous or threatening because it meant change or loss of identity, self-destruction could keep a person safe in a dysfunctional status quo. The unconscious mind loves repetition. Trauma, negative beliefs, and unresolved conflicts create neural pathways that become hardwired. The brain defaults to familiar patterns even if they're destructive, because it conserves energy and reduces anxiety about the unknown. Breaking these cycles requires conscious effort, awareness, and sometimes professional help. One of the most powerful insights in psychology today is recognizing that self-destructive behavior is not a moral failing or a lack of willpower. It is a survival strategy gone awry. When we shift our perspective from judgment to curiosity and compassion, we open the door to healing. Asking, "Why am I doing this?" instead of "Why am I so weak?" transforms the inner dialogue. Emotional awareness is the first step. Often, self-destructive behaviors are unconscious responses to unprocessed feelings: anger, sadness, fear, or loneliness. Learning to identify and tolerate these emotions without judgment weakens their hold on us. Mindfulness practices, journaling, and therapy can help bring these emotions into the light. Another key is rewriting the internal narrative. Our beliefs about ourselves shape our behaviors. By challenging and changing limiting beliefs like, "I don't deserve happiness," or "I'm destined to fail," we can create new, healthier patterns. Affirmations, cognitive behavioral therapy, and inner child work are powerful tools here. Setting healthy boundaries is essential. Self-destruction often involves sacrificing our needs to please others or avoid conflict. Learning to say no, protect our energy, and prioritize self-care interrupts toxic cycles. It's a radical act of self-respect that rewires the brain to expect safety and kindness. Building supportive relationships is also crucial. Isolation fuels self-destructive tendencies. Connecting with people who validate, encourage, and hold us accountable creates a foundation for growth. Sometimes, just being seen and heard can break the cycle. Healing is rarely linear. Relapses and setbacks are normal parts of the journey. Instead of falling into shame, recognize these moments as opportunities for learning and growth. Resilience builds each time you choose to get up again. Ultimately, the hidden psychology of self-destruction reveals a profound truth. Behind the pain and chaos lies a yearning for wholeness, love, and acceptance. Your behaviors, no matter how damaging, are attempts to survive in an imperfect world. When you understand this, compassion for yourself becomes possible. And with compassion comes transformation. If you're struggling with self-destructive patterns, know you are not alone, and there is hope. Change is possible when you bring awareness, kindness, and the right support into your life. The road to healing starts with a single step: the willingness to look within and ask, "What am I really afraid of?" The path is challenging but deeply rewarding. You can reclaim your power, rewrite your story, and create a life where your choices nurture rather than harm you. This hidden psychology is a key to unlocking that transformation. Are you ready to begin? Let's explore this journey together. Self-destruction often disguises itself in many forms: procrastination, self-sabotage, substance abuse, toxic relationships, or even chronic self-criticism. Each of these behaviors carries a hidden message, one that your subconscious mind sends out to protect you in the only way it knows. But how do you break free from these patterns that feel so familiar and yet so damaging? The answer lies in understanding the roots of these behaviors and gently unraveling the stories we tell ourselves. One crucial aspect to recognize is the role of fear: fear of change, fear of failure, fear of success, or even fear of happiness. These fears create invisible barriers, keeping us locked in cycles of self-destruction. Sometimes, the fear is so deeply embedded that we don't even realize it's there. It's like a shadow that moves with us, influencing our choices and reactions without conscious awareness. For example, fear of success might sound counterintuitive, but it's real. Success often brings expectations, responsibilities, and visibility, things that can feel threatening to a fragile sense of self. So, sabotaging success becomes a way to maintain comfort in the familiar, even if that comfort is painful. This fear ties back to identity. If you've only known struggle, who are you if suddenly everything goes well? Another hidden psychology at play is the attachment to identity through suffering. Some people become so identified with their pain and struggles that letting go feels like losing a part of themselves. Suffering becomes a twisted source of meaning or even pride. I've been through so much. This is who I am. Breaking free from self-destruction then requires not only changing behavior, but reshaping identity itself. But how do you begin this transformation? It starts with awareness, catching yourself in the act of self-destructive behavior without judgment. Instead of criticizing or blaming, simply observe. Notice the triggers, the thoughts, the emotions that arise just before you engage in harmful actions. This mindfulness creates a space between impulse and reaction, a space where choice becomes possible. Next, explore what emotions or needs are beneath these behaviors. Is it loneliness, anger, boredom, or a craving for control? Self-destructive actions often try to fill emotional voids or express feelings that haven't found a safe outlet. Naming these feelings reduces their power and invites healing. It's also important to cultivate self-compassion. The inner critic can be relentless, but compassion helps to soothe the wounds that fuel self-destruction. Imagine treating yourself as you would a dear friend who is struggling. This shift softens resistance and opens the heart to change. Therapeutic approaches like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, help reframe distorted thoughts and challenge unhelpful beliefs. For example, replacing "I'm not worthy" with "I deserve love and respect" gradually rewires the brain's pathways. Inner child work allows you to reconnect with the parts of yourself that were hurt and never fully healed. Setting small, achievable goals builds confidence. Change rarely happens overnight, and the journey is filled with ups and downs. Celebrate progress, however small, and use setbacks as lessons rather than reasons to quit. Resilience grows in these moments of perseverance. Building a strong support system is invaluable. Sharing your struggles with trusted friends, family, or support groups reduces isolation and encourages Sometimes professional help from counselors or therapists is necessary to navigate deeper wounds and develop effective coping strategies. Remember, healing is a process of reclaiming your authentic self, free from the chains of past pain, fear, and limiting beliefs. It's about learning to meet your own needs with kindness and respect rather than punishment and neglect. One powerful tool in this process is rewriting your narrative. Instead of seeing yourself as broken or doomed to repeat destructive cycles, view yourself as a resilient, evolving being capable of growth and transformation. This shift in perspective changes how you interact with challenges and opens up new possibilities. Visualize yourself stepping out of the darkness of self-destruction into the light of self-awareness and empowerment. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a victory over old patterns. The path may be difficult, but it leads to freedom, the freedom to live fully, authentically, and joyfully. As you embark on this journey, ask yourself, what am I ready to let go of today? What story about myself am I willing to rewrite? How can I show myself more compassion in moments of struggle? These questions open the door to deep healing. If you've ever found yourself caught in the cycle of self-destruction, know that change is possible. You don't have to be defined by your past or your fears. By shining a light on the hidden psychology behind your actions, you take the first brave step toward freedom. So here's a question for you. Have you ever recognized a self-destructive pattern in your life and taken steps to change it? What helped you break free? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story could inspire someone else on their path to healing. Remember to like this video if it resonated with you and subscribe to the channel for more insights into psychology and personal growth. Healing starts with awareness, but it grows with connection. Let's walk this journey together.